This is a response video to Boogie2988. He goes, I love you, man, and I have to agree with you. There are a lot of things that are being done in this industry that are chipping at the industry as a whole. Okay, I'm a disabled gamer. Okay, I've had 6 strokes, so I can't compete at the competitive level where you've got the teams playing things like League of Legends and stuff. So those are our dreams or fantasies that can never really be held to. But I am still a gamer. I've been a gamer since the Atari. And not the Atari 2600. I'm talking the first generation one where, Pong and Adventure and some of the very simple games that came out before the 2600, Mad Bomber and stuff like that, Haunted House, all that stuff. So I'm a gamer from then, and I remember the decline of the gaming industry and just not good titles. Haunted House was kind of fun, especially when you just got into a match, a set with your friend, and you're both sitting there and you're just wandering around in the dark and either bumping into things or burning the heck out of matches. So, I remember when consoles were the thing to have, and that you had to hook them to your color TV, but that you could even hook them to your black and white TV because some of them didn't even have anything but black and white options, like Pong. So, either way, I remember the industry. I remember the corruption and the downfall of the industry. I stayed away from consoles for decades. I didn't want to buy into Xbox because I didn't want to buy into Microsoft. But I started to slowly come back as a PC gamer, and I realized that all these things were related. The fact that things you could play on the consoles, you want to be able to play games. If you're really a hard gamer, you're one of those where you need to game. It's a way to deal with the social stresses in your life. Then you need to game, and games need to be available, and certain games are good for certain things. Sometimes you have to play them on the console. Sometimes you have to break down and buy consoles you don't like, because you don't want to really support that, but maybe you'll buy it used or secondhand, and I do differentiate the difference between the two. Secondhand from person, used is from a store. Anyway, but he's right. First day DLC, the only way DLC is really acceptable day one, especially for a AAA title, is if you're talking about stuff that you really wanted in the game. You didn't have a time to get it finished, to get it set so that it could go to the presses, so that it could make it to the discs, so that it could be packaged, so it could be warehoused, shipped, sent to the stores, gotten to the stores in time, unpacked, shelved, and ready for delivery when day one occurred, when the delivery date occurred. An update. Updates I can find acceptable. And free DLC I find acceptable. But not all DLC I understand could be free, because there may be considerable expansion to the game in such that it increases the length of playability, to perfect example, Fallout 3 went open-ended. Okay? Fallout 3, to get to the open end of the game, that much development of continued story is important. Okay? The DLC, though, should not always come with a price tag. Sometimes you should just want to make your customers happy. Because if you make them happy, when you put out Fallout 5, or a game I hope to dear God gets developed, Fallout Coast to Coast, where it truly embraces the entire wasteland of North America. That kind of stuff, I understand that DLC would have to be packages of areas that you had to open up, because giant maps that include the entirety of North America cannot be easy to develop wholesale. So you start northeast or the southeast or the west or northwest or wherever, center of the country. You start in Denver, for crying out loud. You know, and then you gotta develop packages that build out areas around it so that you can but like Elder Scrolls Online did a smart thing. They had a DLC package that, yeah, there were some advantages to buying the DLC, but they made the basic expansion available to their customers. All their customers. Because, alright, yeah, you want some added kick? Pony up some cash. You want to continue to play the game and enjoy it? Hey, here's the basic layout. This is what you can get. This is what is added. You know, I have to admit, some companies get it right. Sometimes the same companies get it wrong. But there was a video I watched earlier today, in fact, that was the top 10 games that had been damaged by the meddling of the developer, or the company that was promoting the product. The executives involved in promoting the thing, thinking this or that would be cool, and this and that would be wonderful, and let's do some, focus testing, and diluting out the heart of the game. And you're right, Boogie. EA, on that list in that particular video, I'm going to have to put it in the description. That particular video, EA's name came up as one of the agents of evil for destroying games more often than any other group. It's amazing how much they can put their hands to, that they've got tremendous assets and no sense to use them. So day one DLC, as an update, I understand it, because you guys, once the code goes to be set to the disk and the disks have to start being mass produced, you really can't work on that code any longer, because the first disc that goes out and the last disc that goes out have to be identical, so everybody's on the same starting page. But at the same time, your team can continue to develop the product. So day one update makes sense. Day one DLC, paywall, hidden skins. Well, skins, is as much as that. If it's something that doesn't really provide an advantage, it just makes it look neat. I really don't give a hoot, because you see, I wear glasses. If you look at these glasses real well, other than the fact that, ooh, they are dirty, the fact is that they're bifocals. And I'm getting to the point where I probably need trifocals. But that being said, that an aside, I should say, there's, I don't play games on all the ultra settings. Why? Because I can't see anything above the mid-range settings. you know, or if a leaf turns in the distance, you know, I've had children in my life that were not mine, who were gamers, who could tell you if a pixel changed color, you know, a million miles into the background, and they'd know to take a pot shot and kill the guy that was standing behind that one digital leaf. I couldn't even see what they were taking a shot at. So to kill myself over super high-end graphics that I can't perceive, it's not. I'd rather the performance over the high-end graphics. So skins, I might find a skin I'm really interested in, but it's not a game changer. It doesn't end up affecting the overall playability of the game. So that I don't mind as much as the DLC first day. But another thing I have a problem with is other microtransactions. You know, on a free-to-play game, they make a heck of a lot of sense, because how else is a developer going to make money? You want a little boost. You want to be able to buy a box of some of these building materials, because you don't want to go searching over hill and dale to find them. You're willing to cough up a couple of bucks. Now, get yourself a box of building materials. Now you can just slap up that structure you've wanted to build. Buying templates to build things. Like I like Landmark. Landmark the game, which is the format under which they're building EverQuest Next. And I can join development with the fans. The fans are having a part in developing the next game they're going to get to play. That, I think, is a fantastic idea. I love the game. I play it immensely. And I will continue to play it because it's what I would hope, you know, I could do is be involved in the development of what I love. But I'm not a programmer, so I have to work with, you know, the same building tools they have to work with. I like that idea. Do I have to buy building materials instead of spending all that time scouting out the building materials and not building the thing I want to build that is going to lend into the possibility of making it into the end product? So Founders Packs, I understand that. I understand tiers of Founders Packs. I like one of the tiers, the top tier of the Founders Pack for Landmark, because they also straight up said, you were only put down $99, your name goes in the credits. Why? Because you supported the game to a level far beyond, you know, the average player. You didn't just dip your toes into the pond and say, hey, I'm going to dabble with this free to play and that's the way my life's going to run. And you didn't do just a couple of microtransactions here or there, which you may end up spending more than the $99 in microtransactions. But then again, I might spend the $99 on the top end Founders Pack and still be dumping that much money into microtransactions, because I may want to build something instead of seeking those materials out. So I understand some microtransactions, but then again, Landmark, free to play. Most of the games that I know of that, you know, Daybreak is involved in, free to play. So, you know, they've got EverQuest, EverQuest 2, they've got DC Universe Online, and Landmark, which is still in beta. Okay, you know, I understand it, but at the same time, you know, There was, Hawken. Excellent game. Free to play. Free to download. If you like mech on mech combat. Like a first person shooter but using big robotic power suits. Okay? Everything in that game can be earned. Hey. Excellent model. Nothing should have to be paid for. Nothing should, there are things that have to be paid for, but they're all items that have no real bearing on the game. It's the custom icons for your character, things that really don't need to be in the game. They're in the game so that the developer can make some money so that they can continue to produce an excellent product and support this excellent product. I understand keeping a business alive. Raping your customers, that I don't agree with. Just because I have $1 in my pocket doesn't mean I have to give it to you, the developer, to you, the company that puts out, hey, maybe my favorite game in the whole blasted universe. Anything I could possibly conceive, and that is the penultimate of that. It doesn't give you the right to want the very last dollar I have in my pocket. I got to do all this on a disability pension. Okay? It's not a lot of money I've got to play with. So when you're chopping up my money $60 at a time and then asking me to double down just so I can get a couple of really cool items, and I will $120 for a game, I can go to Bethesda, play something offline. I can run with anything Ark puts out or anything Cliff puts out and just play it. Not have to sweat dropping $60 on the game. If you disrespect the customer will eventually realize they're being disrespected, and they'll drop supporting you like a hot rock. I know the games industry doesn't want to do this, and this also leads into Boogie's other video about how there may be a second game burst, a bubble of the games industry, because quality development is just not occurring. Storylines are being revamped and rehashed. They're just cobbled together. They're not looking for anything new. There are 2 or more different Dungeons and Dragons style, affiliated with the TSR logo of Dungeons and Dragons, or their other storylines. Okay, so they're basically the same game. Alright, some may have a spell plague involved, or this involved, or some change in the way magic works, or they might as well be the exact same game to a degree. They're just shades off of each other. There's no real, but it's the same in the movie industry. We're now seeing movies we've been seeing movies I saw when I was a kid, rehashed, new actors, sometimes done as well, sometimes not nearly done as well. And in the end, it's just rehashed. You could go by Shakespeare and say there are only 12 plots. But you really could look at the fact that you are just looking to pluck every little penny you can for yourselves, not respecting your customer, and then we'll go away. For as much as we're fervent about our games, there are enough games to play offline. I could keep myself entertained for a decade or so. And, that's the truth. I could play through my oldies. I just bought my entire anthology for one of my favorite series, Fallout. Plan on buying the anthology for the entire series of the Elder Scrolls. I'm in Elder Scrolls Online. I'm playing Ark Survival Evolved. I've got over 11 MMOs I'm involved in. And yeah, maybe that's because I got 12 angry weasels that want to try to control everything. And I have the attention span of at least one of those 12 angry weasels. That doesn't give you the right to want to pull every penny out of my pocket. Provide me a quality product, I'm more than happy to pay for it. Maybe some now, maybe a little more later. Maybe a lot now, and maybe nothing later. Maybe a lot now and something further down the line. But don't be popping me 6 months down the road that you've expanded this game so much that I could dump 1,000 hours into now, and you've thrown another 300 hours worth of complete content in, and I'm gonna have to double the price, not doubling my entertainment value. So the cost per hour played is ramping up, not dropping off. I mean, you've developed the engine, you've developed the plot and storyline. Additional stuff. I mean, there are guys out there, the modders for the PC end of the universe. They'll do some of this stuff for free all day long just because they love the game. So you can't tell me that it's all about the fact that you can't afford to add something to, add some value, add some playability to a game, recyclability to the game. So I don't just feel like I have to recycle a disc. Well, I've ranted on about this for 22 minutes. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world. That was a something from way up in New York. Those of you who know will know exactly what AM station that is. And now that I'm into 23 minutes, I am going to say I have ranted enough. I do agree with most of the points you make, but it doesn't give them the right to want every dollar I have. And with that, I'm going to say peace out, and here's seeing you later. My luminaries and mysterians, keep yourself enlightened, keep searching out the mysteries. All will be well.